We are hanging out right now at one of Knoxville's newest breweries. I feel like we've said that a lot.
We have.
As some breweries have been opening a lot lately. But we're hanging out at Orange Hat Brewing Company out here off Hardin Valley in what some people refer to as West Knoxville, others refer to as East Nashville. It was a short drive. It took me less than 15 minutes to get out here. And we're sitting down at a table in their tasting room right now with both of us have a nice cold pint in front of us.
Three lagers.
Yeah, pretty much. This is Zach, the Brew Bus guy with Knox Brew Tours. For those watching on YouTube, thanks for joining us. For those listening on the radio, as always, we pre-recorded this so we can enjoy a beverage during the interview. Hanging out with Mama calls me Kevin.
Hello, hello.
How we doing, bud?
Wonderful, man. Loving being out here. This is the second time that I've had a chance to visit this brewery. And the first time I was here was right after opening, and there was still ice on the ground.
Oh.
So we don't have that problem today.
No, we do not.
No, we don't.
I'm drenched in sweat just from walking from the car to the front door. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And then we are sitting down right now with one of the co-owners, Rodney. Rodney, thanks for hanging out with us and joining us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for coming out, guys.
So this is officially Beer with Rodney from Orange Hat.
Wow.
And let's start off with a toast. Cheers.
Cheers.
Roast.
Tink, tink. I love that sound. Okay, so normally we all drink the same beer together, but I know that Kevin and I got two different beers.
Yes.
What did you get?
I got the lager, the lead-off lager.
Oh,
yeah.
It looks
it's
so
delicious.
Clear, and you could read a book through that glass. I mean, it is. That's exactly what I want a lager to look like. Tell us more about the lead-off lager.
Well, I mean, it's your pretty much straightforward, your easy drinking lager, approachable by everyone. We thought it was important to have that beer here for those people who, may just be sticking their pinky toe into the kiddie pool of craft beer.
Right.
So that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what we were going for. It's your all-day drinker, just light and refreshing and fun to drink.
Yeah, every craft brewery has the answer to the question, what's the closest thing you got to Bud Light?
Right.
Yes, we do. Yeah. It's a necessary evil.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. I mean, it's fun. We crafted it up a little bit. We put some saws in there and gave it a little spicy note to it, just to have some fun with it. But this was the second version of that, and that rounded it out and made it just a home
And
run.
Saw's
great.
hops
Get
are
it home
such
run, lead off.
Ah,
You get it?
very nice.
I love it.
I pulled that. I just did that.
And Saw's hops are such a great hop variety out of Germany that are just classic with that style of beer. Even American light lagers, because our original American breweries were German heritage. So that's a great addition. And then I'm drinking the Knox Common, which when you asked me what I wanted to drink, I already knew I was going to say
I already knew
that.
you were going there.
It is so malty. It's got not like overly malty, but it's got that nice body, a little bit of that caramelness to it. It's still very chuggable. Tell me more about the Knox Common.
So that one is we brew that one with yeast from White Labs. It's a hybrid lager yeast.
Ooh.
So I forget the name of it offhand. That's a better question for Brandon, but. Who is at the beach right now? But no, I mean
Well deserved.
Yeah. It turns in about 16 to 18 days. So if you know for a lager, that's pretty quick.
Yeah.
But you still get those great lager qualities and just really refreshing.
The body is nice and light. Is that what you're drinking too?
That's what I'm drinking too.
I love it. Well, cheers. Thanks
Yeah.
again for hanging out with us. Yeah. We're again hanging out with Rodney at Orange Hat Brewing Company. And we've got some questions that were submitted on our Facebook.
Uh-oh.
We're going to get to those in a minute. Before we get to those questions, I mean, it's kind of a traditional question we ask on every interview just about. But everyone always wants to know the history behind the name of a business. I'm sure you've answered this for the 5,700th time. You've got it down.
That's okay. I'll do 5,701.
Yeah.
No, it's cool.
What's the story behind the name Orange Hat Brewing Company?
So Brian Hatmaker and myself, we were both still are home brewers at heart. When I was brewing, I live on Orange Blossom Lane, and I brewed Orange Blossom homebrew. All my friends told me it was really great. It was free, so it was really great, you know. But no, I brewed Orange Blossom Homebrew, and then my partner, his last name is Hatmaker, so we put Orange and Hat together and came up with Orange Hat Brewing. Yeah,
Very nice.
and it doesn't hurt that we're in East Tennessee.
Yeah, go
Right.
Vols.
So,
Right?
so yeah.
Does not hurt at all that we are in East Tennessee.
Nope, doesn't hurt.
So a friend of the show who we've interviewed before and you all have heard, Matt Malone, just walked in the building.
What?
And I want to make a joke and say we're totally not prepared for this, but we happen to have a fourth microphone
Just in
plugged
case.
in and sat down. Also, Matt, don't forget we are in camera as well, so please no gang signs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take a seat. You've only missed one question so far, and we're not going to recap it, so we're moving on. We're moving on.
Did I get that one right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me. It's your question. I love it.
Yeah.
So, how long did you homebrew for?
I homebrewed for about 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. It started with a kit, moved to all grain, bought a little spike fermenter that we still mess around with here at the brewery, and then my business partner, he was brewing for about 7 years, and he had a pretty sweet setup in his house too, and we were just messing around, and we're both business operators and by trade, and we love beer, so we kind of just put home brewing and beer
Together, yeah.
business together.
Yeah.
And
So you had 5 years experience. Brian had many years experience homebrewing.
yeah.
Tell me about the decision and the process to start a professional brewery, and then to also hire a professional brewer, and what that process was like as far as bringing Brandon onto the team, who you mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah.
Is at
So
the beach
starting
right
the
now.
business was not a sober decision, but hiring a brewer was. So,
Well said.
yeah, really. I mean, we honestly were in my garage drinking beers, talking about how awesome it would be to start a brewery. So, being that we have business backgrounds, we put the numbers together fairly easily, but we also saw the climate in Knoxville changing when it comes to craft beer. When you see people like Highwire pulling into town, typically a couple amateur homebrewers are not going to have the chops to brew in this area anymore.
Yeah, in a city the size we're
we
at now.
couldn't
and
anyway.
the
I'm not
breweries.
saying that others couldn't, because
Right.
it's highly possible. And if that's your dream, then do it. But we just understood that we didn't have the chops to really play in the big leagues. So that's where Brandon comes in. He was part of our plan from the beginning. The stars aligned with him. We found him, or he found us, on a common website, probrewer.com.
Okay.
It's where professional brewers go to, hang out, chat. They sell and buy used equipment, but there's also a help wanted kind of thing
Like
on
jobs,
there.
looking for jobs.
Yeah, and
Right.
we had resumes from all over the country. We had people from Stone. We had people from.
Do you think part of the draw was that they wanted to come to Knoxville?
I really do. It's exciting out here, The things are moving east,
Yeah.
and it's kind of crazy, and just like the climate for brewing and jobs and potential in East Tennessee or the eastern side of the country is really growing. Excuse me.
You good?
So yeah, he found us, and we interviewed probably 5 people, 5 really great brewers, but every time we were comparing them to Brandon.
Yeah.
So
It just worked.
yeah, we hired him sight unseen. He came on board sight unseen, and he's just been knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, this Knox Common is fantastic.
So
I know that Ladybug that we talked about before.
yeah.
Ladybug is one of their beers that seems to be one of kind of your unofficial flagship lately.
Yeah, it
seems.
really has been. And something exciting for us, we have been dabbling in a little bit of distribution. So if you can't make it all the way out here, all the 15 minutes out here, it's a great drive. But we have it at the Radius Bar and the Embassy Suites downtown.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah,
And
nice.
then Beard and Beer Market. So we
Cool.
wanted to hit
Lovely.
the business class and kind of the local
The
people,
young
and just kind of
professionals.
Great.
see where that takes us. We're not gonna dive into distribution, but we wanted to kind of put it out there, get our systems
Get
and
your toes
processes
in the water a little
place,
bit.
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Okay, so you mentioned again hanging out with Rodney at Orange Hat Brewing. Mama calls me Kevin. Matt Malone from Alliance crashing the interview as well.
That's
here
accurate.
on Knox on Tap. Thanks again so much for hanging out with us. So from the day that you and Brian in your garage were like, we should start a brewery, to the day that someone paid for their first pint here at Orange Hat, what kind of time frame are we talking about? Is this a year, 3 years, a year and a half?
It was honestly rapid fire. I don't recommend anybody doing this. But it was a dream of mine, really, and Brian's. And when we get fixated on something, we're sick until it's done.
Right.
And so we had the conversation in February 2019, and we served our first beer February 2020.
Yeah.
So in less than, it was a year.
It was right at a year.
Right at a year.
Yeah, but I mean, we were pulling double duty. I was in here at 3 o'clock in the morning until I had to go to my real job. He would come at 5 o'clock at night and stay till midnight. We did that for forever, and then it's just going around begging the bank for money and doing all that. But the stars really aligned for us, and we got super lucky.
Nice.
Super lucky.
That's awesome. That usually there's a lot more issues.
There's usually a lot more issues. We were lucky to be in the county where they hadn't experienced 20 breweries.
Right.
So they had a lot less questions because really they didn't commonly know the questions to ask.
Right.
And things like that.
It
which
also
is fine.
helps too that you guys are in a new building.
Yeah, it was a new
Yeah.
building, so
Yeah.
we were just extending on to everything that was already here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Gregory Hedrick is a huge supporter of Knoxville beer. I'm sure he's been here several times.
Yeah.
Your bar, if you don't know him, your bartender's
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
And he had some questions. He wanted to know a little bit more about the genesis of you and Brian and how you guys originally met and connected way before Orange Hat Brewing.
So that's a good story too. Brian and I kind of played leapfrog in our career for several years before we started Orange Hat. We've always had a business relationship. I hired him. Okay, so I'm gonna rewind. I was a rehab director at a skilled nursing facility. I moved up to a regional level.
Okay.
Hired him to be my replacement.
Okay.
He went over to UT Home Health.
Okay.
I took my old job back.
Okay.
He went to hospice. I took his home health job.
Okay.
So so we've been playing leapfrog in our career for a really long time. But
So-
me managing him mentoring me, like it was.
You guys had a really solid personal relationship and professional relationship.
Yeah. We know how to separate business from friendship. I mean, it's kind of like a couple kids on the playground. I'll punch you in the face, and then we're gonna have a beer afterwards.
Right.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. We've
Yeah.
always had that relationship.
I mean, Matt and I have been friends for a long time, and we'll literally have an argument about something, and then as soon as the argument's over, we're like, so where are we going for dinner?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
that's-
what beer? What are we getting a beer? And people, like past girlfriends Matt and I have had, and like past friends will be like, wait, you guys just like kind of yelled at each other for 30 minutes, and now you're gonna go get a beer together? And we're like, yeah. What else would we do?
Yeah.
I remember I had an ex that said she couldn't be in the same room with us because we argued all the time. And
Yeah.
Zach and I were like, "What are you talking about? We're not arguing. We're just talking." Yeah, that's
yeah. So I mean, they always say don't get into business with friends or family,
Yeah.
but we kind of had that dynamic of friends and business partners.
Yeah.
Or we've navigated business waters together
Yeah.
before. So.
Right.
You felt
Yeah.
like there was the groundwork had sort of been laid already for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I grew up in the restaurant business, and my parents working together, my brother and I working in the restaurant, and so, I mean, I grew up in where you operated a business as a family unit, and there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
The cons are if you're mad, there's nothing you can do about it, and the pros are, that they're your family, and they're going to
Yeah.
be there when you need them to be there, and they're going to, And so I love that you guys are not technically family, but there seems to be that strong bond and that's important. So.
Yeah, after the lease and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of like we're married now.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you sign the paperwork and the
Yeah.
loan papers and all
Yeah.
that, it's like you're
What's yours
legit.
is mine,
Yeah.
and what's mine is ours.
Yep.
So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I do have a question
Yeah,
that might
right.
put you on the spot a little bit. So right around the corner from you on Middlebrook Pike is Knox Hops, owned by Tyler Brown.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've connected with Tyler yet or not.
Yes, we have.
They're growing, I think, mostly Cascade. They might have done a little bit of Columbus this year.
Three of their hot plants are right out there.
Oh, that's
Oh,
awesome.
nice.
So he messaged me that the hops are coming in really good and wants to know if you have any interest in doing a wet hop beer.
We do, and we're actually working on a little secret project right now.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
But within that, he's in the secret project. He just doesn't know it yet.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's that big of a
Yeah.
He's going to
secret.
find out tonight on the radio.
Yeah, he is.
And for those who can't see us, Rodney just did like the evil finger.
Yeah, that's
move.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
No, we're trying to figure out the logistics behind our project right now, but Knox Hops is part of it.
Knox Hops is
hopefully part of it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm
So,
sure they will be. Tyler's, they do great stuff over there. We're looking at doing some like concert series there, and maybe doing like, it'd be cool to string up a huge projector screen and do like a movie night
Yeah.
at Hop Farm and stuff
Oh, yeah.
like that with some local beer and
Yeah,
all kinds of
that
cool
would be
stuff.
sick.
Yeah, that'd be so much fun. All right, so this is one of my favorite questions.
Yeah.
What is you could only drink one beer for the rest of your life?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna call this your desert island beer.
Yep.
What would your desert island beer be?
You asked me this question once before, but for those of you who have missed it, it is Manifest West,
Okay.
which I am happy to say our West Coast finally got a name, Manifest West.
Love
which
it.
was fun coming up with
All right.
that name. If you're familiar with Manifest Destiny,
Yeah.
where people from the East moved to the West for the gold rush and all that kind of thing.
Right.
So since we were pretty much the furthest west,
Right.
we were going to call it Manifest Destiny, but that was a little too rich.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So we went with Manifest West, and it's the same great taste, but it's just got a brand new name, and that's my desert.
So it's kind of like
yeah.
if I, as a downtown, someone who lives downtown, wants a West Coast IPA, I can travel west.
That's right.
the Orange Hat Brewery.
And you
yeah.
won't be disappointed. I had one while I was waiting on you to get here, Zach. So
Oh,
and
that
it's
sounds perfect.
It was delicious,
I mean, if you think
lovely
about
West
it,
Coast
we're on the
IPA.
West Coast of Knox.
Of Knox
County,
That's
County,
exactly yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah.
Well, I've got one more question, but before I hit you with it, Matt, Mama calls me Kevin. Is there anything up in your noodle that you want to throw at Rodney? Any questions before we?
Not really. He already kind of answered mine without me even having to ask it because I was going to ask about the hop plants outside, but
Yeah.
you already touched on that.
That
a
was
little
actually
bit,
what
so.
I noticed. I noticed them hanging out there too. So yeah,
Somewhere
that's
from my backyard. It was a little bit of Cascade that I threw out there and forgot about, so we brought it over here, and then the guys around the corner brought us some.
Nice.
So
Wonderful.
hey, before we wrap up though,
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out. You know, the past 10 weeks have been really rough with everything that's been going on with COVID and all that kind of thing. And I wanted to tell a story about how much the community has supported us during this time.
I like to hear that. Good.
There was a lady that came in. I don't know her name, but I happened to be serving crowlers that night, and I asked her what she likes, what she would like to try, and she goes, "I don't like beer, but I want 3 of these and 3 of these, and I'm going to give them away just because I want you guys to stay here and support you."
That's awesome.
I
And
love
that's
that.
the kind of support that we got from tons of people
Yeah.
right here in the Hardin Valley and surrounding community. And I have goosebumps right
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
about it. Like we
Those-
might not be here if it wasn't for that support.
Yep.
Those are the kinds
Exactly.
of moments where it feels like the hard work and the effort to open and to start a business feel like it was worth it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it touched my heart in ways, all of our hearts, in ways that we can't really explain.
Well, that's a way better story than the question I was going to ask.
Top that.
Yeah, I can't.
No, I just thought it was important to say thank
Absolutely.
you to the
Yeah.
Hardin Valley and surrounding communities. Like, it means more. I mean, we're not rich business guys. I mean, we're just
Yeah,
a couple,
yeah.
out here trying to make things happen and dreams come true, and we're able to employ 15 people, and
Nice.
it's exciting.
Well, thank you so much for being our interviewee for our Beer With segment tonight
Yeah.
on the show for Knox on Tap. This, again, is Rodney from Orange Hat Brewing Company, and Zach, Mama calls you Kevin, and our first interview crasher, Matt Malone.
And hopefully not our last.
When are you doing Alliance? Because I want to crash that one.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
we'll have to do that. We've done it. We did that one like 6 months ago. We'll have to
it's time.
It's
It's
due
time.
for another
We got to
round.
go back to the top of the list.
That's right.
Where is the best place digitally for people to get connected with Orange Hat Brewing?
Facebooks, is that what it's called? The Facebook?
I think
The
so.
face
That's-
space?
yeah.
It's called
The
the Book of
Facebook?
Faces.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Instagrams.
Okay.
Yeah, or orangehatbrewing.com.
Okay.
You'll find all of our food truck and event schedules. and all
What's
that
the
kind of stuff.
Instagram handle? Do you know?
At Orange Hat Brewing Co.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Nice and simple.
Perfect.
I'm sure if you start to type it in, it'll
Yeah.
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It shows up.
Well, thanks again so much for your time and for hanging out with us and
Thank
for
you
the
guys.
beer. And this is a great space. I look forward to bringing bus fulls of people out here on a brew tour one day in the future, hopefully. Knock on wood, fingers crossed.
Yeah, it'll happen.
And thanks again for your time, man. I hope for the best for everything for you all in your future and anything that we can do at the show to support you. Don't hesitate to let us know.
Appreciate you. Cheers.
Appreciate you.
Cheers,
Cheers.
guys.
Ooh, love it.
Yeah.